Clarkson. Representative Sherwood.
Here.
Representative Stith.
Here.
Representative Walters.
Here.
Representative Zwanitzer.
Here.
Chairman Nicholas.
Here. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, first bill up, Senate File 38. Mr. Ex-President, go ahead. Next speaker, I mean. Maybe soon to be president.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Eric Barlow. I am, I guess, a reformed House member. No, just kidding. I'm not reformed. that's what we're laughing about.
Informed.
Uninformed. Thank you very much for this time. As you can see from the bill, this came out of the Management Audit Committee's work. Over the last basically 3 or 4 years, the Management Audit Committee has been trying to help both with a carrot and stick approach, subdivisions of government have their due diligence and their financial reporting accurately and on time. The carrot part of this has been offering training, et cetera. Now, some folks, you guys have already had this bill in the House, that they thought the carrot was too strict, and they want to maybe pull back on some of those training requirements. The stick part of it is, and we did this several years ago, and all of you would have been a part of that, is we actually said, if you don't make these reports in a timely manner and don't do these things, we're going to withhold funds. Now, when we did that the original time, for all good reasons, we went down that path, but we didn't maybe do it the most effective and most streamlined manner, the individuals that were withholding the funds. So the first thing I'd like to point out is our very capable state auditor is in the room, and she is here lobbying for the repealers, because the repealers were the responsibilities that we put in her hands several years ago. And actually, there is no clear path for her to actually do the things that those repealers do in this new modified version of the bill. So the repealers we directed the state auditor to do this with the state agencies and this with local governments. And really, she's not a part of that flow of responsibility in this current draft. So we're repealing basically all the duties that the state auditor would have in this statute. And I think, if you wanted her to speak to any of that, but I can assure you she has been consistent in her support for removing her responsibilities in this bill. The second part of this bill is it streamlines what was the state auditor's responsibility to some extent in notifying and withholding funds. It streamlines that to two places: Department of Revenue for cities, towns, and counties, and county treasurers for special districts. So that's what the bill does in a nutshell. The second thing that the bill does, so let's review that. What we're changing is who does the withholdings, and what is withheld. So in the repealers in the previous version, it was loans and grants, et cetera. And now we're just going to the three things: sales, use, and lodging tax. And then at the county, that's at the state level, and at the county level, it's any distribution to a special district, which you can't get into all those types of distributions because we have all those types of special districts. The second thing that this bill does that I think is, I guess maybe 2+, is it gives the Department of Audit an out if there's good cause for these folks not being able to comply. And I think the classic example that we heard through testimony is many of these entities, depending on their size, need to have a full-blown audit. They have to have a CPA or an audit. And right now we have a limited resource of audit firms and audit capacity in the state of Wyoming. Well, the fact that they did everything right to try to hire an auditor, and the auditor can't get to them, and that puts them behind the timelines, is not really the entity's fault. That's something more mechanical. So we're giving a good cause out so that these things don't come to pass. Now, on a special district, as these members of this committee will know, December 30th, these folks aren't in compliance, it's a dissolution. The county commissioners are, by current statute, this is not in this bill, current statute, they are required to initiate dissolution proceedings for these special districts. So they've had from July 31st, end of the fiscal year, then we go to November, they haven't turned in their report. When the Department of Audit reports that to the county is obligated to initiate dissolution. Now, the department is here, and I just asked them to come up front because I'm sure there'll be questions specific to how many non-compliant entities are they, what are they, where are they in the process now, because right now, members of the committee, Mr. Chairman, we would be in dissolution if they were a special district because of just the timeline. Now, I will inform you on the other side, on the Senate side, right now, we have a bill that would allow a reinstatement during that dissolution period so it basically gives them another 3 months. If they come into compliance, they could back out. You haven't seen that bill yet, but it is coming, because what we have is we have some entities, smaller entities, and I would just say, for lack of a better term, maybe don't have folks with the adequate experience or understanding of some of what we're trying to get to here, which is the proper handling of public funds, fiduciary responsibility. They don't have that maybe expertise or access to it, so we're trying to give maybe a little more grace period, so when the counties are notified, the counties can hopefully step in and be of assistance. So, Mr. Chairman, if you'd like, I'd walk through the bill quickly and then take questions, or certainly our Department of Audit, the director, and the administrator of this particular part of his agency is here. So the bill, I think, is pretty straightforward. What you'll see on page 2 is this goes to the Revenue, Department of Revenue, as they make distributions. When you look at lines 9 and 10, you'll see state and local sales, use, and lodging tax, and the statutory distribution references. And then on line 12, by October 15th. So let's be clear to the members of the committee, Mr. Chairman, that they've known this requirement is in current statute. The fiscal year ends the 31st of June. Now we're at October 15th, and they have not supplied their information. Now, the second, so that's all of this part, and they can start, and this says they can start withholding, the treasurer can start withholding the funds until they become compliant. And then when they become compliant, they distribute the funds.
Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead.
Senator Barlow, so I think it's important for us to understand, or if I'm seeing this correctly, it's not that they lose the funds. It's just until they come in compliance, then they release those funds, and there aren't any denials of those. They'll get everything that's come to them. We just want them to be in compliance.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. Line 16 into 17 into 18. All withheld disbursements under this paragraph shall be retained by the director in an account from which the disbursement would have been made until they actually come into compliance. So there is we're not sending the money back anywhere. We're just holding it until compliance is achieved. Mr. Chairman, and I'll go on to the second section. So this is on page 3. You can see this is a renumbering, but this is for the special districts. There's a notice to the county commissioners, line 8 and 9, and the special districts. And then line 15, actually, there's a different timeline for special districts. And we had some discussion during the interim about why a different timeline. And I honestly can't tell you. I had an interest in making them the same, but we decided not to go down that line because there was probably other things that we weren't. Every special district, as you know, has their own authorizing statute, and then there's this kind of broad umbrella. And by the time I guess maybe the interest was, let's not get into all that statute. Let's just keep one date that's in current statute. So, Mr. Chairman, this message is just the same, with the exception, the only thing that's added here, which if you look on page 4, is the good cause language. The good cause language. There's some I guess what you call conforming amendments for disbursements versus distribution. But what this allows the Department of Audit, the entity, the special district, to say to the department, hey, director, we're having trouble. This is our challenge. And then if you go to the bottom of the next page, on page 5, you'll see good cause. And this is basically things beyond their control. And this gives some discretion to the Department of Audit, basically give them a pass until things come into effect, or come into, they get things in order. The 2 repealers, as I said, Mr. Chairman, these are the 2 sections of current law that take the state auditor out of the process. The state auditor is being removed from the process, and we're clarifying that it's the Department of Revenue and the county treasurers in this process. Effective date is our standard effective date. Be glad to stand for any questions, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman. Senator Barlow, could you just walk me through that process then, because we're talking sales tax and other disbursements. So will the state auditor will make the disbursements to the county treasurer, and then the county treasurer withhold that payment until such time, or where does that withholding take place?
So, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So for the special districts, all the withholding, we're not changing anything about the distribution, no matter where it comes from, whether it's Department of Revenue, auditor, if we direct something to the auditor or wherever. We're not making any change in that. It's just the withholding part occurs at the county treasurer level.
That's what I was
Period.
wondering.
We're
Thank
not
you.
making any other changes upstream of that, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
Senator Barlow, it looks to me that this is an enforcement mechanism with respect to cities, counties, and towns. Is it fair to say that this really won't have much effect on special districts because they don't get sales tax?
Mr. Chairman, so the special districts do receive distributions, and if, let me see, and they are receiving mill levy distributions, and that's what would be withheld for them. So if, I didn't bring 16 up here, but if you look at receives funding, there are some withholdings, and I think it comes out of any mill levies that they would receive from the county, or from the county treasurer. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Let me.
Senator Barlow, could you show me where it talks about mill levies? Because I don't see any property tax references. I see the sales and use tax and lodging tax, but I don't see the other. It's probably in here and I just didn't see it.
Mr. Chairman, so the special districts is on page 3. It's new Romanet 4. And I didn't look up those statutes. I looked up the other statutory references. I didn't look up 16.4.102, 16.12.202. So I think those would be, anyway, I apologize. I can't come up with it quick enough to satisfy your inquiry, because I don't have the correct statute.
So I presume your other bill that's coming out will be on third reading today?
Pardon me, sir?
Your bill that's on your floor still, you said it's coming our way?
I didn't hear what bill you're talking about.
The one that you said that we haven't seen yet, that it's.
Oh, and Mr. Chairman, so that is actually something that would occur after December 31st, after the dissolution process. Has nothing to do with this bill. It would not impact this bill at all.
But we'll see that referred over.
I would
today.
expect it to be on third reading tomorrow. It passed second reading today.
Okay. Any more questions?
And Mr. Chairman, if I could, I apologize to Representative Stith. I don't have the correct statute book to look up those, but it's currently what's being done now. This is current statute. We're not changing current statute. This is what's being withheld, and likely the Department of maybe the Department of Audit can answer what those two references are, and I apologize.
Any further questions? Any questions for Department of Audit or for the auditor? All those in favor, raise your hand if you like this bill.
Public comment?
Public comment, yeah. Any public comment? Seeing none. Go
So,
ahead.
Mr. Chairman, I will follow up for the good of the entire committee on the two references there, and I apologize for not having them
Well,
in front
the
of me.
good
Mr.
Representative
Chairman.
Stiff is going to carry this on the floor, I presume. So he probably needs to follow up.
Mr. Chairman, I think the language is in here. It's a part of existing statute that disbursement should not be made. You're making the additional adjustment in this bill that the county treasurer will certify monthly to the Department of Audit about the noncompliance. So
Eric,
I
do you
think
know
I
who's
see
going
it
to
now.
carry
Thank
this on the
you.
House side?
Mr. Chairman, pardon me.
Do you know who's going to carry this on the House side?
Mr. Chairman, Representative Sherwood is on the Management Audit Committee, and she's certainly on this committee, so I don't know if that's a natural pick or if there's someone else, but Representative Brown, Chairman Brown is the vice chair. Management Audit's a little different type of committee. It has a chair and a vice chair, not a co-chairs. So I think you have two choices, either Representative Brown or potentially Representative Sherwood. I think the other options are Representative Nyman, Representative Knapp. That might be the totality of your choices. So anyway.
So, Trey, would you just work with Landon and decide who will earn how and what, so just so we know. Okay, go ahead, anything else? Okay, we'll close public comment.
Chairman?
Go ahead.
So it looks like we got two new public commenters here. I think we ought to have them come up and identify themselves and get their opinion.
Yeah.
Come on, come on. Yeah, you, come on.
Interns that are nonpartisan.
I know, we want to know who you are. Come and sit down and tell us who you are. Tell us who you are and where you're from.
Hi, I'm Perry. I'm originally from Denver, but I go to the University of Wyoming. Perry Henniger.
Hi, I'm Rowan Kelly. I've lived in Laramie for the last 10 years. I'm a political science student at UW, and I'm originally from Hawaii.
Good. Well, we're glad you're here.
Yeah, nice to see you.
Thanks for stepping up to the mic.
Okay, can you guys sing?
Move the bill?
Okay, move the bill. Any amendments? Roll call.
Representative Henderson?
Aye.
Representative Larson?
Aye.
Representative Sherwood? Representative Stith?
Aye.
Representative Walters? Representative Swanitzer?
Aye.
Chairman Nicholas?
Aye.
Thanks, Eric.
Yep.
Spent a long time working on this. Thank you.
Okay, let's go to, we have a preference? 48, Warden
That's
Patrol,
my preference, 48.
come on up. Fire away, Ben. Remind us of what we forgot.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ben Brandis, General Counsel, Wyoming Retirement System, here with WRS Deputy Director Rachel Meeker. Here speaking on Senate File 48, which is a contribution increase in the Patrol Warden and Investigator Retirement Plan. I'll just kind of cover the highlights and remind you of the situation. This particular plan covers sworn officers of the Highway Patrol, game and fish wardens, and investigators of AG's Division of Criminal Investigation. There are 272 members, active members in the plan.
How many? Excuse me.
272. At present, the plan is modestly well-funded with a funding ratio of 80.6%. However, the plan is projected to slowly decline over time, excuse me, potentially dropping to 76.9% in the coming 30 years. So the WRS actuaries have determined that a contribution increase is reasonable and warranted in this plan. This bill would increase the contributions from the current employee contribution of 14.56% in the plan to 18.92%, which is an increase of 4.36%. As a reminder, the employer percentage, contribution percentage is 14.88% currently, and that would remain unchanged under this current bill. The state of Wyoming subsidizes the employee contribution in this plan such that the employee will actually bear an increase in their out-of-pocket contribution of 0.39% under the terms of this bill as drafted.
That amount again, please.
0.39% would be an increase to the out-of-pocket contribution by employees. And the state of Wyoming will bear the remaining 3.97% of that increase. The portion of the total rate actually paid by the employee therefore increases from 2.64%, which is what they currently pay out of pocket, to 3.03%, which is that 0.39% increase. The bill provides an appropriation sufficient to cover the increased subsidy that the state would be picking up. The rate increase would produce about $1.15 million per year in additional plan revenue to the plan. The rationale behind this bill is that the increase calculated by the WRS actuaries is what is necessary to place the plan on a growth path towards full funding in accordance with the board's 24-year funding policy, and would coincide it with the actuarially determined contribution rate of this plan.
What's the time, what's the horizon?
The plan under the proposed new funded ratio would reach 100% funding in approximately 2050 or 2051, a little less than 30 years from now.
Okay, questions for Ben? Any questions? Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, do you mind just repeating some of those numbers? Right now, the contribution is at 14.65% is the current contribution?
I
And it's,
think all those are on this handout.
oh, okay. Well then, Mr. Chairman, I can read the memo. That's good. I think I got the gist of it.
Okay. Any other questions or comments?
It appears, Mr. Chairman, there weren't, sorry, Mr. Chairman, it appears from our bill that this came through the Senate as it came out of JAC unchanged.
Okay, we'll open up for public comment. Any public comment? You guys want to introduce yourselves again?
Mr. Chairman, Committee, Josh Walther, Lieutenant Colonel for the Wyoming Highway Patrol. We certainly support a solvent plan for several reasons, two of which are it's a benefit for our employees, and without it, obviously, we lose a benefit. Another reason is our retirees haven't received a COLA since '09, I believe it is, and where they won't receive another one the way it's written until the plan is 100% funded. So for various reasons, we support it, and I'm not here to talk about any reasons why we shouldn't be increasing contributions. Do have just a couple concerns I want to relay to you folks that we're hearing from our employees, as well as our leadership. The increase in 4.36% seems a little heavy, given the fact that over 30 years it's projected to drop just 2 or 3%. So consideration given to the percentage and at least potentially doing what we did with the LE plan to where you guys rolled it in stages and phases incrementally over the course of 3 or 4 years, I think it was. That would be the first request. And then second consideration is, in comparison to the big LE plan, the employer has the opportunity or the ability to pay for all of the employee portion if that's what they so desire. And so we just ask that that be put on the onus of the agencies to determine, the employers to determine, is looking at this holistically. Should the employer cover all the expenses based on where the pay is at right now, where staffing is at right now, what the benefits package looks like right now? Should they pay for that portion or shouldn't they, or should they put more of it on to the employee? We just received raises. As you guys know, you worked very hard on, we supported. It was phase 2 of the raises, which all of our employees received. It sounds like phase 3 is probably not going to go through this year, so it's concerning that we'll have an additional deduction in our employees' pay, potentially with this increase in employee contributions. So those are the two asks. Again, can the percentage be rolled in incrementally? And 2, can the employer have the option to pay for all of the, or all or none, or a portion of the employee expense? With that, Mr. Chairman, I'd stand for any questions.
So I'm not seeing it right away. What's the cash amount of the 0.39% increase on average? So is that the mean, basically, or the average? So it's $262, right? Yeah, so I want to know what's coming out of their checkbook.
So, Mr. Chairman, I think if I understand your question, the per month dollar amount coming out is, I believe, it would be an increase of $31 a month. Per month coming out of the employee's actual pay.
Total is going to be $420, something like that.
Correct. Yeah, $368 per year.
Josh, excuse me, Mr. Chairman, so Josh, on that, to the point, there's about $31 a month coming out, and you would like to have that brought in more gently across how many years?
Mr. Chairman, Representative Larson, yeah, my ask is just, right now, it's actually 3.03% is what we'll move to. So we'll go up from, I believe, 2.64 to 3.03. So the $31 is just the average increase for just that jump from 264 to 303. So my request is, Does it have to be
3.6, right away.
4.36% total today? And does the portion for the employee have to be that 3.9%? Can both those be rolled in incrementally?
Right, I understand that, and so my question is, so of that 0.39% that you guys currently are required to pay, I think amounts to about $31 a month, if I heard correctly. And so over what period of time and at what increments do you think is, if that's too sharp of increase per month, what should it be?
Mr. Chairman, Representative Larson, two requests there. The first one being, can we mirror what we did in the LE system where we spread it out over 3 years? Second request would be, can the employer have the option to pay for that $31 of the employee's expense, if they so desire, like we did in the LE plan?
As I understand it, is it, we don't prevent the employer from paying it. Isn't that correct? I mean, just because we say that it's the employee's obligation, the employer can still cover it for it. Or maybe I'm wrong, but that's what I'm curious about.
Mr. Chairman,
Ben, do you know the answer to that?
Trey's
Go
trying to.
ahead, Trey.
on page 3 of the bill, on line 15, right now it reads shall be paid through a reduction in cash salary of the employee unless otherwise specific, unless you make legislative action otherwise. So I think that the word shall may be limiting our ability to pick up the employee share.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, that's correct. In this plan, it's statutorily required currently for the employee to pay out of pocket a certain percentage, and this would increase that percentage. That's similar by comparison to the public employee plan, which also for state employees has a statutorily identified percentage that the employee is responsible for. And as Lieutenant Colonel Walters pointed out, in the law enforcement plan, local law enforcement plan, that there's not a statutorily determined percentage for employees.
Okay, any other further questions? Any other public comment? We'll close public comment. Your motion on the bill. Moved by Representative Walters, seconded by Representative Larson. Discussion.
Mr. Chairman, I have a suggested amendment.
Go ahead.
So on page 3, line 15, my amendment would change the word shall to may.
So I think in I'm looking at the wrong one. Okay, is there discussion? Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion.
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
I'd be against that amendment. I mean, right now, it's 3% of a total amount that's going into the plan of 33%. So this is, for every dollar that actually goes into the plan, we're asking the employee to actually pay 10 cents. So I just don't think 10 cents is too much to pay to get a dollar's worth of contribution. And then when they retire 20, 25 years later, they actually get $2 additional. So for the 10 cents they put in today, 25 years from now, they get $3. I think that's a pretty good deal.
So if you look at the top of page 3, the language as it has existed, starting in 2012, has always been may. And so this amendment would just continue to provide that flexibility on who picks up the employee's share.
All those in favor of the amendment say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? No. Any other amendments? Seeing none. Roll call.
Representative Henderson?
Aye.
Representative Larson?
Aye.
Representative Sherwood?
Aye.
Representative Stith?
Aye.
Representative Walters?
Aye.
Representative Zwanitzer?
Aye.
Chairman Nicholas?
Aye. Okay, who do we want, who presented this bill, or who wants to present the bill? Whoever gets this one doesn't have to do the next one. Yeah, okay, Representative Stitt, it's yours. Next bill, judiciary retirement. Go ahead, Ben.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, shifting from guns to gavels on this one, it's a very similar bill, a bill that would propose to increase the employee contribution rate in this plan, again, to bring it on par with what WRS actuaries recommend. As an overview, the judicial plan covers justices of the Supreme Court, district court judges, and circuit court judges of the state. There are currently 55 active members of this plan. The current statutory rate, total contribution is 23.72 in this plan, and it has been unchanged since 2008. This plan is presently very well funded, at 99% funded. However, the current contribution rate is below the normal cost of this plan, and therefore that's what's dragging this plan down over time, very slowly, but down nonetheless. So the direction of this plan, if left unchanged, would continue to decrease with projected 30-year outcome of reducing that 99% funded to 91.6% funded. The proposed increase in this bill increases the total contribution rate in the judicial plan by 2.25%. As drafted, this bill currently would increase the employee contribution by that 2.25%, and the current employer contribution rate of 14.5% would remain unchanged. This plan also provides an employer subsidy of the employee contribution. That employee subsidy would increase by 1.9%. Therefore, the effective employee increase, the out-of-pocket pay in this plan would be increased by 0.35% of salary, and that remaining 1.9% would be the increase to the employer subsidy of this plan.
And what's that out-of-pocket amount?
The annual out-of-pocket amount would increase by $615, Mr. Chairman, and that's $51 per month.
So I don't see a representative of the court here. Do we have their blessing?
Mr. Chairman, I don't know if I can speak for them. I can relay that they did testify, I think, in the Senate appropriations on this bill, and similarly just acknowledging support for the plan in general. And
Okay, go ahead.
Can you tell us what changes they made on the Senate side? It looks like they've evidently done something.
yes, Mr. Chairman, Representative Larson, I believe it's the amendment that passed simply reflects, do you have that amendment? I think it was more of just a non-substantive correction, but I'll need to double check on that. I can get back to you.
I have it for you if you want it, Mr. Chairman.
What is it?
It says 7 47%, and delete that and insert 7 47/100%.
Where are you at? What page?
Line and page?
Oh, I'm sorry, page 2, line 16. So they deleted 7 47%, the same amount, but they wanted it to read 7 47/100%.
Okay. Okay,
I suppose it's conforming language.
so we'll, anybody online? Say we'll close public comment. We have a motion on the bill. Seconded by Representative Henderson. Discussion? Roll call.
Representative Henderson?
Here, aye, sorry.
Representative Larson?
Aye.
Representative Sherwood?
Aye.
Representative Stith?
Aye.
Representative Walters? Aye. Representative Swanitzer?
Aye.
Chairman Nicholas?
All right, so Representative Sherwood, you want to carry this on, present it to the floor? Good. Okay. That's it. Any other business? Jackie? No? Okay, we'll be in recess.
What's that?